Okay, so as a last example for database injections, I want to show you the concept of NoSQL injection. You probably heard about NoSQL databases. One commonly found example is MongoDB, which is a schemaless database. So imagine you're using Node.js, which is a JavaScript-based application server, to talk to MongoDB, which is a very common thing to do nowadays. Especially hipster coders like to use Node.js and MongoDB. JavaScript manages to be even worse than PHP in terms of language design and implementation. But okay, let's leave it at that. So you're using Node.js with MongoDB, and to stick with the login example, we say you implement a login with these technologies. So you use Express.js, is the most common web framework used within Node.js for web applications, and you use MongoDB. You can use that, such as here, the database that you have connected to earlier, not table, but node. The accounts in the accounts. It's not called table, but how's it called? An account schema, whatever. You say find one username. You take the username from the query, and password. You take the password from the query. And if that returns a result, then you do something with the result, the user's logged in. So, is this a good idea? Here we have user input, and here we have again user input. Well, turns out Express.js transparently converts URL parameters to arrays if necessary, so we can set the user to admin, for example, and the password to brackets URL encoded $NE equals something. So what happens? Well, the database, here the query parameter password of the password will be transferred to a JSON array, because the Node.js and the MongoDB talk to each other via JSON objects. JSON is JavaScript object notations, object serialization format, and turns out in MongoDB you can write a $NE, that is a magic value for this field doesn't equal, not equal, with empty field. So this would work. You would be logged in as an admin as long as the admin password is not empty. So this is a very simple example of a NoSQL injection. Why is this relevant? Well, this is a very common example of how URL parameters might be used to find something in a NoSQL database. What I want to stress on here is that this is not limited to MongoDB or Node.js. This is not limited to PHP and MySQL. Wherever user input is mixed with code, this can lead to very severe consequences. In this case, even you could say code is mixed with code, because JSON is valid JavaScript code, and here Express.js transparently making an array out of a URL parameter leads to this horrible behavior.